Hey guys. So I thought maybe I'd try to put together a quick video on kind of my new patient process and what I do and how I go about moving people along. What I've been good at to kind of start there is getting people started and getting them committed to a period of time um, to work on correcting problems, for lack of a better way to describe it. I still need more work on um, retention over periods that we all do, and I need to get better even the first stuff as well too. But at least this will kind of give you guys an idea of what works for me. Because I would say right now, 9 out of 10 people that I sit down with on day one commit themselves to at least a 3 month period of time with me for care. Out of those 9 people, I would say at least 7 of them, if not 8 of them, finish that 3 month time frame that's on there. And out of those people, there's another 90% of them that stick around after that in a maintenance way, whether it's once a week, once every couple of weeks, once every month. So I feel like I'm doing something with the formula right now. We could all keep doing better, but basically, first visit. I mean, I always think of it this way: is that I want to build rapport with them right away, um, so I can get on the same page with them. I want to get them to understand that they have a problem, or to make that problem as significant as possible, because humans minimize things. Thirdly, on there, I want to give them basically some hope. In other words, we can help them, and you got to be honest with them. If you can't help them, tell them that as well too. If their arm's falling off, don't lie to them. But that's a big thing. And then lastly, on there, give them direction. And this is the part, that direction piece, people have a hard time with sometimes, because you have to think. You actually have to put some effort into it. So basically, rapport, where I start. This seems simple, but when I listen to docs do it, very few of them actually build rapport. And it can be as simple as like, your shoes are awesome. Where'd you get them at? They got a Hawkeye coat on. And you're like, I love the Hawkeyes too. When was the last game you were to? Small talk type stuff that gets you on the same page with where they're at. And I think that's the thing. Like, you want to maintain a doctor-patient relationship, but at the same time, you want to almost err on the side of, if you were having a beer with this person, how would you communicate with them in the beginning? Just real simple, subtle things that make them feel comfortable. Because understand this: most people come in here, they have no desire to be here. They're here because they feel like they have to be to, quote unquote, get some relief or fix a problem. So build that rapport. Get them to the point where they're laughing, joking with you, they're telling you things um, that would be typically outside the realm of most other healthcare providers, because they feel comfortable doing it. You've got to build the rapport. So that's a critical part. Step two, getting them to understand the problem. So I'll take them through. I'll ask them about their symptoms, this and that. I get headaches. My first question is, how often you get them? 3 times a week. My response to that's really critical. If I say, okay, and write it down, that's one way to do it. Or, wow, that's a lot, and write that down, type of thing. And then I ask them, how severe do they get? How do they affect you when you get them? Well, 2 days a week, I basically have to go home from work. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So basically, 2 days a week times 52 weeks a year, that's 104 times you're going home, leaving work. Let's say it's even half of that. 60 times a year, you're going home and basically having to shut yourself down. You're missing a lot, not just at work, but in the rest of your life. Make the problem real for them. You've got to cement that in their head, because at the end of the day, if you don't, they will minimize it. They will say, well, you know what? Everybody gets headaches. Everybody has 2 headaches a week. Everybody goes home from work once a week because their headaches are bad. That's BS. We both know that. So the key thing there is, you've got to make it as real as possible for them, so that way they understand why the heck they're sitting in front of you to begin with. They made the right decision to be in front of you. And that's even the same thing with that, is that when they tell you that, you know what, you're in the right place. You made a good decision to get in here today. I wish you were in here 2 weeks ago, but you're in the right place. Next step in is getting them to understand that, kind of like I just said, that they're in the right place. You can provide solutions. And a lot of that comes back to, if you go through evaluation with them, you check and range of motion, this and that. Things you notice, things that you simply say, like, you know what, I just had somebody in here about a month ago, something really similar to this. This is the same thing I noticed with them. Here's how they did. Explain that to them. It's a testimonial to some degree in regards to how that person had done before with something very similar. Um, Not only that, but things like, you know what, I expect you're going to do perfectly fine with this. I've seen this stuff before. Most people within X amount of time do pretty good. what we're going to talk about next time is really kind of specifics on that. How do we get to that point? And I think that's the part where you're forecasting a little bit. And that kind of leads into that next step on there is that to really get them to say, you know what, I'm looking forward to coming back. We're giving them a next step. You know what, I'm going to get you adjusted today or whatever you want to do with it. Based on kind of how you do with that, as well as what we looked at today, I'm going to get a little bit better read on what's going on with you based upon your response. So next time you come in, we're going to recheck what we looked at today. Not as thoroughly, we're going to recheck not just how you feel, but how your body's working. And then based on that, we'll get a game plan put together for you on how we want to resolve this. And that game plan is going to be based upon what you want to solve. That may be you here just you want your back to stop hurting. As soon as that's done, you're out of here, which is perfectly fine. We have people to do that. Most people, they want to fix the problems. They want to go through this again. They don't want to continue to damage their spine, their nervous system, and get to a point where they don't have options. My goal as a provider is to keep you in control. In other words, not getting to a point where you don't have any options to help fix problems and help fix yourself at that point in time. Is that fair to you, basically? And that's the thing. When you build rapport in the beginning, this is a really easy conversation to have at that point in time, because now all of a sudden you can have you're talking to your brother, you're talking to your buddy conversation. You can be as candid and as transparent as you need to be so you get them on the same page. Because bottom line is that if you don't work through the sequence here, they're not showing up next time at that point, because they're going to feel better or they didn't. And either one of those, if they feel really good, they ain't showing up. If they feel crappy still, they're not showing up because you never gave them a next step. And that literally goes for every single visit someone gets in front of you. When somebody comes, I don't care if you've seen them 500 times, give them a next step. When they get off the table, you know what? Here's what I liked today. Here's what I didn't like today. Here's what I want you to work on between now and next time. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. So when you come in here next time, let me know how you did. And we can modify things according to that. They are paying you to coach them. They're not paying you to adjust them. They're paying you to coach them. And the more effort you put into coaching them and leading them, the more likely they are. That value of that is what keeps them around. That keeps them referring people to you and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. So again, build rapport, create a sense of urgency. They got to know that their problem's more significant than what they maybe thought when they came in. Next to that is that you're in the right place. We've seen this before. We can help with you on that piece. I feel confident in that. And lastly is, here's what's going to happen next. We're going to recheck. We're going to create a game plan. We're going to get you better at that point in time based upon what you want to accomplish. Does that sound like a plan to you? Yes, great. We're going to get you up front, get you scheduled, blah, 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 blah. Keep them moving in that progression. The day you get lazy with them, the day you take for granted that those people are just going to show back up just because they want to, is BS. We all know that. Like I said, they're here because they have to be, not because they want to be. You've got to give them a reason to want to be there. So work through that sequence. Practice that stuff with your patients. It doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, literally, you could go through a first visit with somebody. If you're good at this stuff, go through a first visit with them within 10 minutes, period. And they're going to leave there thinking, you want them leaving the office thinking, I like that person. I like that guy, girl, or whatever. I like that person. You know what? Wow. I'm glad I showed up because I didn't realize it was this bad, and I'm glad I'm in the right place. I know I'm in the right place. I'm looking forward to going back and finding some answers out on how I can get on top of this. That's what you want them thinking. So hopefully this helps. Like I said, let's work on this. Let's train through this, but this is a good place to start.